Hey guys, your humble host. So real quick, I'm going to make another response video to the same person I did last time, and it is Andrew. It has come to my attention that he actually made a response video to the people who contradicted his beliefs, or rather responded to his first video why he loved women on their periods. So I'm just going to go through quickly and respond to it. I've already watched most of it. It's nothing but a bunch of drivel. With name calling and no real counter arguments, but you know what, the fact that really irks me is just the arrogance of this guy. So we're gonna go through and see what he has to say together. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? I thought today we would have a little bit of fun and address some of the period trolls. And I just want to say for the record that the majority of my subscribers are not the period trolls, but there was a video posted by a YouTuber I'm not going to mention because these people are pretty irrelevant to me, at least. I had never heard of this guy.
You mean Bearing? And as far as period trolls, you mean the people who came over to your original video and pretty much shared their objections and discussed with what you presented, which is perfectly fine. They weren't really harassing you at all. Of course you're going to have trolls on every video. You're going to have people like that, but for the most part, because I looked through the comments of both Bearing's first video and your video, no, there really wasn't a whole lot of troll comments. Yes, there was some name calling, which wasn't right, but at the same time, a lot of them were just like, what is wrong with you? There's something wrong with your head. And you know what, that's not really an insult. That's really asking, what is your fetish with a woman's menstrual cycle? Moving on.
I'm sure the majority of you guys have never heard of this guy. But anyway, he made like a funny little video of me with a cartoon in it. Basically no point proven, basically just trying to expose me as some type of fool or deviant and what have you. And basically sent all of his followers over to that video to basically harass me and call me names and call me a weirdo and all this other stuff.
You mean he spliced up the video and interjected his own counter statements or counter arguments? Nothing of yours was taken out of context, nothing of yours is misconstrued. There is no misconstruing the fact that you kept your ex-girlfriend's pad for a year and a half after you two broke up, or the fact that you enjoy having sex with a woman on her period and you have somewhat of a fetish for it. Nobody sent anyone after you. Bearing's fans were not told by Bearing to come over and harass you on your channel. If anything, because I know that this is an issue that's going around a couple of the communities, whether or not it's a good idea to even post the original video. This is done so the audience is shown that, hey, I didn't take any of this out of context. Here's what the original video said, exactly what I had posted. It is to show the legitimacy of the commentator's argument. Just as Bearing did with your video, he posted the original link to show, hey, you know what, here's the argument I presented from him, here's the original context, compare the two and decide for yourself, which a lot of people did, and came over to your video and said, hey dude, you're kind of messed up in the head for this, what's your obsession with this stuff? That's pretty much what happened. And as far as Bearing's video goes, he has his own comical way of doing things, and he did counteract your points, and he was, if anything, his humor lightened a very creepy and very disturbing video. No, this video is not in defense of Bearing. I have no issues with Bearing, but I just wanted to respond to this video of Andrew. But I am stating simply what Bearing did. Moving on.
Thank you so much for the views, guys. I appreciate the views. It's always good for my AdSense account. So a couple weeks ago I did post a video called Why I Love Being with Women on Their Periods, and this guy that made this video basically took that clip, sped my voice up, gave some funny, ridiculous, silly commentary, took me out of context, and then the majority of his viewers basically took me out of context as well and came over to my channel to attack me. Now
No. Once again, nobody came to attack you, and might I say how arrogant you are. You know, when I saw Bearing's video on your response video, this one, all I could really think is how much you were doing this for the views. And you know what, just by that statement alone, I was right. Because you know what, you have presented no counter arguments, no objectifications. nothing that would serve as a proper debate to Barron's video. All you've done so far is name called. All you've done so far is try to twist something that really didn't need to be twisted, and all you do is blatantly lying right now, and that's what it is.
For the record, this guy's fan base, I don't know much about this guy, but his fan base is like a complete echo chamber of complete insanity, and I've basically just been deleting all the ridiculous comments. I've gotten a couple decent, comments, where the person just has their own opinion, I don't like to be with women on their periods, but you do your thing. That I can handle. When it's just these, nameless troll after, dozen trolls after the other with no profile picture, no social media presence. I mean, I'm not a...
Why do they have to have social media presence at all? And you know what, just to clarify, I went through the comments on both Barron's and your video, and a lot of people were just really grossed out with what you presented. They didn't take you out of context. They watched Barron's video, and then they came over to watch yours to see if Barron's points were on cue with what he had presented of your argument. That's why the link to your video was provided. People decided for themselves, hey, you know what, Barron didn't take this out of context, so here's what was really presented, and it lines up with what Barron presented in the first place. No, just a lot of people grossed out because what you did present was really nasty. It really was.
Offended, because I think it's actually quite hilarious, but I figured I would at least address the stupidity of the situation, because the majority of these men and women out there, you guys are misogynists. You probably hate women, and the idea of a woman having a menstrual cycle somehow threatens you.
Dude, no offense, and I really don't like to name call in my videos, but you're an idiot. And this is coming from a woman who's actually on her period right now as I'm doing this video. No one is threatened by a woman on her period. If anything, people want the woman to maintain herself a little bit more, because if that's not kept up with, it smells, it's gross, and it can cause all sorts of problems if not dealt with properly. We're not misogynists because we think a period is gross. As I stated to you in my video before, which I guess you watched it, which you'll later point out in this video, but you haven't responded to it. Once again, no counter arguments. All you can really do is name call just to justify your fetish, dude. I mean, no one is threatened by a woman on her period. We're not misogynists because we think it's a bodily function that should be kept private and dealt with in a private manner and not shared, especially during intimacy. Blech. But anyway, moving on.
And if your man can't get down with you and have sex with you on your period, he's a little bitch. You're a little fucking bitch if you can't, get down with your woman on her period. Now,
ooh, there goes the name calling again. And you know what? Just how dare you? Because you know what? I even had this conversation with my husband after making this video, my video on you, and watching Barron's. And he even heard a little snippet of this response video. He doesn't want to deal with it. I don't want him particularly around when I'm dealing with it, in the bathroom or otherwise. It's gross, it's unsanitary, and yes, sex is going to have body fluids, but those body fluids that are there, like semen and fluid that comes out of the vagina when you're ovulating and doing things like that, that's normal. But to have blood involved, it's not normal, sir. It's rather gross, and it's really nasty. And you know what? If anything, I appreciate it when my husband gives me space when I'm dealing with him. Not because I'm ashamed of it or because he demeans me in any way. No, just because it's something private I like to deal with on my own. I don't want him around. He doesn't want to be around. And you know what? He gives me my space, and he respects me when I alert him, so he doesn't receive a nasty surprise. And I alert him in just a simple, proper manner. Hey, you know what? Time of the month. So, yeah, can't do that for a while. But no, why do you feel the need to name call every single guy that doesn't want to deal with it? It's not normal for a guy having to deal with that. or having to even mess with it. Once again, sir, you have a blood fetish, and a rather nasty one at that. Moving on.
Let me just state for the record that I never said in that video that I literally, take blood from a woman's menstrual cycle and sit there and chug it out of a cup. That's not what I'm saying, but basically...
Oi, dingus. No one ever said that you did. But the fact that you went romantically sniffing, tasting, just ingesting a woman's essence. Dude, that's really gross. They don't have to specify you drinking it. The fact that you, in your video, stated going down on a woman when she's on her period, and giving the implication, saying that you literally tasted a woman's blood is freaking gross. Nobody accused you of chugging it. You were trying to twist something and blow something up that we never presented in the first place. What we presented was a counter-argument to you saying that you tasted and smelled a woman's menstrual blood. That is what was presented, and that came out of your mouth. You started that, not us.
What I was saying was just little, going down on your girlfriend briefly for a couple minutes at a time when your woman is on her period. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of men like that. And as far as the intercourse is concerned, people have been doing that for thousands of years while women have been on their period. Quotes like this actually spring to mind.
I'll let him get to the quote in just a minute. Just because they've been doing it for thousands of years, great. They didn't have the products back then that we do now. They didn't have the soaps, the pads, not the history, but the studies, the documentation. Heck, they didn't even have gynecologists back then. So you know what? No, they had to deal with things differently because of the lack of knowledge. And because we have a knowledge, and because we have a proper way of dealing with it now, a lot of people do not want to have sex when a woman is on her menstrual cycle, and that is perfectly normal, and that is actually quite healthy. And I don't give two flying figs if men like it, and if for those men who actually do, I think they're rather messed up in the head, personally. It's just, no, why would you want to mess with that? If your girl has issues getting wet, find lubricant, not blood. Thank you.
Lady came to my channel in support of me and said the following. For all you nameless, impotent trolls out there, just let's have a look at this. Sophie says, I can't believe some of these comments. Just reinforces how most people still cannot show maturity when talking about their periods. Exactly.
No, not exactly. Yes, menstrual cycles are discussed, but it's either between mother and daughter, big sister and sister if they have questions that the mom's not able to provide, or with a gynecologist. A period, yes, there's medical studies and things like that, that if a woman who actually has her period and actually experiences month to month can go and look up just in case they have an issue or questions and things like that, which is perfectly fine. But this is not show and tell. It's like, see world, see what I can do? No, this is not what it is.
Or talking about periods. Periods aren't gross. They are a normal, healthy part of life for women. Thank you for addressing this topic. And some other woman ended up, some other clone of the first person that made this video about me ended up making a response video, basically just kind of being a misogynist and not really, respecting the bodily functions of a woman, not really respecting people's sexuality.
Okay, bullcrap, and why sexuality? You must have scanned through my channel over some of the other videos I presented. Let's leave sexuality out of this because that's not the topic. If you want to discuss that, that's perfectly fine, but let's focus on your video that I responded to. And that's Chambers of the Heart, by the way. No, when I was not being a misogynist, I was telling you from a woman's experience who has an actual period by an actual woman, how it's dealt with, why it happens, and why it's not to be discussed in the way that you are presenting it. That's not being a misogynist, and there you go with your freaking arrogance again, not knowing what you're talking about. I mean, did you even watch either video? Both mine's and Baron's video did counter, excuse me, sorry, it's late at night when I'm doing this, but we did object and present counter arguments to what you presented. I mean, once again, you're just doing this for views. It almost seems rather pointless to make a response video, but here I am.
I've never demonized anyone's sexuality, and like I said, the majority of these people are not my subscribers. My subscribers, you know, for the most part, whether they agreed with me or not, were fairly respectful, but
both Baron and I were respectful. Once again, Baron made a lighter video out of a very strange and creepy video of yours, while I went with a more serious and in-depth approach. Neither way is wrong, but both ways did counteract. And as for your followers, you mean they're not your echo chamber? I mean, just because we disagreed with you and called you out for it, what you have presented is unhealthy and is really gross. And as a lot of people have stated in the comments, they're referring to it as a vampiric nature. I don't know much about it. I've seen it here and there, browsing around. I don't want to know much about it, but that's also the indication going around. But no, it's, if anything, your fans are your own echo chamber. You stated that you deleted comments that were either obnoxious or ridiculous or just trollish. No, the comments that you got rid of were people contradicting what you believed and what you stated. And once again, who cares whether or not you demonize sexuality? That's not the topic at hand. Quit trying to pull other subjects into the video. They do not matter at this point.
you know, these people, you know, you guys don't have a profile picture, you got no videos, you got, so I know you're just trolls, and I appreciate the views. I really cannot thank you enough for these views, and also the YouTuber that made this video. But having said that, the stupidity of these people, the misogyny of these people, the immaturity of these people, it's like these, I get the vibe from these people. I could read you some of the comments. I mean, they're pretty horrendous. And I could just easily just, you know, disable comments on that video, but I'm just leaving them there because just to kind of see what kind of reaction I get out of people. And the video I made where I came out, I didn't really come out because it's not like a huge unknown fact that it's attractive to have sex with a woman on her period. And
no, it's not. No, it's not. I don't care how much you say that to yourself. And as for immature, look at the one who is calling people names just because they disagreed with them. All you're doing is talking. You really haven't counter-argumented anything. What me, Barry, and other people have said. I've read women in the comments. Women, are they misogynist too? Because they came out and said, no, this is gross. We don't want our boyfriends or our husbands on us when we're on our period. Are they misogynist too? And these are women who actually experience a period? I mean, I don't get it with you. I really, really don't. If the immature one around here, it's you. It really is. And you know what?
Actually, I've had several women in the comment section defend me, saying that, you know, intercourse, penetration during the menstrual cycle, you know, eases up the process, quickens the process, you know, hurries up the menstrual cycle, makes it easier to deal with. I don't know the exact details on it, but not to mention the fact that women are, well, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of women that I've spoken to and have experienced are extremely, you know, horny on their periods, for lack of a better word. And I think that rubs off onto the man in the relationship. And there's nothing that should keep a man and woman from having sex on a woman's period unless the woman just doesn't want to. And I totally respect that. That's perfectly understandable. But
then if that's perfectly understandable and you have women such as myself telling you we don't want to have sex while we're on our period, we get called misogynist, we get called immature, we get called stupid and things like that. No, you are contradicting yourself big time. If you really respected it, you wouldn't demonize people by calling them misogynists and woman haters for not wanting to have sex on period and calling it gross. Just because you like it and you're really trying to push it from a feminist angle, which is a really bad idea, does not mean you are correct. And there is something wrong, in my opinion, when a man has sex with a woman on her menstrual cycle. Her body is getting rid of old crap. That is disgusting. As I stated in my previous video, that is like trying to have sex with someone while they're going to the freaking bathroom. Just only exception is they have no control when it comes out. That is disgusting. It's not okay. It is really, really unsanitary, and it can get you sick. But each to their own, I guess. Just don't freaking share it with the rest of the world. If you have that sort of thing, keep it to yourself, please. And if you do share it, you are going to get criticism for it. It is normal. Quit demonizing people just because they don't like it and they call it gross.
For these people to come to my channel and basically troll me and say that I'm a serial killer, I mean, it's complete nonsense. Like I said, I'm not, addressing these people directly or particularly. It's just the overall insane echo chamber that came from this guy's video. And I actually didn't even watch the entire video because I just didn't really have time. It was basically just all me. It was all my video, and I've already recorded and watched my video a couple times, so I don't need to watch it again.
So you're making a response video complaining about the response videos made to you, and you've stated that you didn't even watch one of them all the way through because it contained a video that you've already seen yourself due to the fact that you made it. Yet here you are complaining about the counter argument stated in that video and all the people commenting on your video. Do I need a tinfoil hat to understand that? Because I am seriously freaking lost. Why are you complaining about a video that you didn't even take the time to watch all the way through and sit here and complain about it and name call and not even provide any counter arguments? You, sir, make no sense. The way that you're behaving leads me to believe that you yourself are brainwashed to a sense. Any guy right in their head, a healthy guy, I've never heard once this trash come out of their mouth. You, sir, got something wrong in your head, and I'm not trying to insult you, make fun of you. I'm dead serious. What you presented in that first video was utterly disturbing. No normal guy keeps their ex-girlfriend's freaking menstrual feminine napkin used for a year and a half. As I have stated before, a lot of women would take that to the level of a restraining order. There's nothing healthy about what you did. That is considered stalkerish and creepy. Stalkers have actually done that. That is stalker behavior. Nothing okay about that.
On somebody else's channel. So, this guy basically had no point, had no motive. He's probably a misogynist. And not to mention, the guy that made this video, as well as the echo chamber of all of his subscribers, none of you are probably vegan. Half of you guys aren't even vegetarian, which means you eat chicken eggs, you eat, other kinds of eggs, which is basically a fucking chicken, period. So...
No, it's not. Once again, the point of a period is to clean stuff out of the body when it is not fertilized and made pregnant. A female body, a woman's body, when it's not pregnant. That's what the menstrual cycle is for, cleaning all that stuff out so it can begin the process all over again. A chicken egg is not a chicken's period. If anything, it's an unfertilized egg. And why are you bringing veganism and all that other crap into it? See, this is another agenda you guys like to push. Dude, people eat meat, people eat eggs, animals are lower than humans. We are supposed to take care of animals and all that wonderful jazz, but they are a food source whether you like it or not. But it has nothing to do with this video. Once again, you're just trying to twist the narrative to fit yours and make the rest of us look like bad guys. And something I find ironic is, this is no offense to Barian. As I said, his video was made in a more lighthearted way on a very disturbing and creeping video when mine was more serious, which both formats are fine. But I find it interesting how you focus more on Barian's video than mine. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because instead of debating an actual woman who has an actual period and has come out and told you, hey, this is nasty, this is gross to have involved in intimacy with my spouse, you want to focus on the guy and label him as a misogynist because it's easier. I dare you to debate me on this. I really do. Because if anything, you have shifted, you've mentioned me very slightly, but you have shifted your focus on Baron because it's easier, because he's a guy, because he does not deal with the period, because he does not have that body function. It is easier to make him as a target. I dare you once again to debate me on this. I am willing to debate you and talk with us about that if you have the spine. And yes, I mean a little aggressive in this video, because I find it rather cowardly of you to go after Baron. Granted, Baron's fine, he's not, but you guys see what I'm saying here? It's easier to go after someone who's looked at it through an outside perspective more than someone who's inside, in this case me, who actually has it. So if you do have the spine to debate me in a video, discuss the ins and outs, I'd be more than happy to do it, as long as it's an actual debate and not just you popping off at the mouth.
You know, teach his own, you know, fucking teach his own. Half of these guys are probably sitting around, you know, watching fucking porn where women fucking drink sperm and shit. So I don't fucking know what these guys are doing, but for them to come demonize me and my channel, you know, or even, you know, my openness and my, you know, my acceptance of a woman's sexual energy during her menstrual cycle, I'm proud of it, and you guys aren't going to, the trolls aren't going to silence me or get me to back down or to do anything. So
good for you. No one was trying to demonize you. Everybody was just saying, hey, this is not normal, this is disgusting, and this is unhealthy, because it is. No one is trying to shut you up. They're just trying to understand why you even presented such a thing in the first place. Because it really is nasty. You do have something going on in your head that just, something is not computing with you.
Oh, and you know, the majority of people told me not to respond to the trolls, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not like angry or like I felt like I was pressured to make a response, but the stupidity level is just completely insane from these, you know, probably ugly, impotent fucking whack jobs. So
you're not angry, you're not upset, yet all the name calling, all the whining, all the complaining. And you know what, I think I'm going to cut off the video here. It just has 11 minutes. But you know what, Andrew, this is not how you have a debate. This is not how you have a discussion with someone. It just, no, you do sound like you're upset. You do sound like you were actually rather irked because someone called you out on your crap. It really is. And whacked, you know, no. You know, why is it automatically assumed when someone has a contradicting opinion, especially when it comes to feminists, or, because he brought it up first, sexuality matters, they're automatically demonized, or they're just, I don't know, but you, sir, you do need help. And once again, that is an open invitation. Sorry if I came aggressive in this video just a little bit, but I do dare you to debate me in this video, or rather on the topic of a woman's menstrual cycle, ins and outs of it, whether or not it is okay for a woman to have sex while she's on her menstrual cycle, and whether men should engage in that in the first place. I dare you to have a proper debate. Once again, I say this entire point of this video, you mentioned me briefly, which I'm not really insulted at, but I find it very cowardly, as I said, for you to go full force after Baron and demonize him, because it's easier. It really is. He is a guy. He doesn't physically experience a woman's period because he doesn't have it. He clearly has a penis, and he's looking at it from an outside view, which is perfectly fine. That's nothing to Baron. But it's easier to go after him instead of actually debating me, which I experience it month in and month out and on it now, and to have a conversation with me when I'm telling you, no, it's freaking disgusting. So if you want to have an actual debate and actually have a discussion with it more than whine and complain because somebody contradicted you, then please comment on this video or hit me on my Twitter. Otherwise than that, shut up. Thank you. Sorry, this is a little bit more aggressive than what I do, and I'm really trying to tone it down. But you know what, it's... Andrew, you really are being a coward in this video. And you know, usually I don't go after people like this, and I'm not. It's just... This video, I will admit, it actually did irk me just a little bit, because it's like, you know what, You didn't listen to anything anybody told you. This is just you popping off at the mouth, trying to twist things to match your narrative and to make anyone who contradicted you look like bad guys, and you were the poor good guy victim who just was open. No, that's not how this works. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off here before I say anything else. You folks, have a good night, and Andrew, my invitation to you is still open. I need to find my button to shut this off.